Hi guys, I'm Jay Black with the Shane Carvalho team at eXp Realty, and joining me today is Karen of Eddison and Melrose Tea Room, I guess.
Yes.
So
Tea something.
Tea something. There you go. There we go. So why don't you go ahead and tell us just a little bit about Eddison and Melrose?
Sure. So the name, first off, is my parents' middle names.
Okay.
And was in tribute to my dad. He passed away 22 years ago, and I wanted to rename my personal chef business, which had grown into catering.
Okay.
And at the time, there were a lot of caterers, so I wanted to have a little niche of my own, and I realized there wasn't anyone on the peninsula serving tea.
Okay.
And I'm from England and enjoy tea time, so I thought I'll be the tea person in town. And that's how that all began. My business, as I said, was a personal chef service, so I'd go into your home, I'd make meals for families, and then leave and go to somebody else's home and do the same thing.
Okay.
And it expanded into catering. So Eddison and Melrose has actually in 20 years gone through these different phases of personal chefing, catering, and then with the tea element, I relocated my kitchen to Monterey in I think 2009. And there I opened my little flagship tea shop. Okay. It was on Soledad Drive, so we would entertain, do bridal showers, baby showers for about 20 people or so, and bring out all the lovely china and all that fun stuff, and a lot of attention to detail. And so we were there for 8 years, and I wanted to relocate to Pacific Grove. I live in town here, be close to home, and also be in a smaller spot, because during that 20-year span, I got into making granola. And that is now my primary source of work, is wholesaling granola to markets in Northern California. And then to keep my creativity alive and so forth, I still love to do the teas. And we're doing, because of the pandemic, takeout teas.
Takeout teas.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. And so with the takeout tea, is that something you plan to continue, or do you plan to bring your little space back?
I plan on keeping up with the takeout teas, just because it gives me more freedom and family time at this point in time. I've got a teenager in high school, I want to hang on to those moments before he drifts off to college.
Sure.
And with doing those teas to go, it's just allowing me to, as I said, be creative and still service the area with the idea of providing teas and doing catering of teas and so forth, and it just gives me more time. You've probably seen food business is a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah.
And this limits the work. Yeah.
Well, in talking with several people that own food businesses, you know, I spoke to the owners of Wagon Wheel and Ad Astra and a couple others, and yeah, they are busy all the time.
Yes,
so it seems like a lot.
Right, so I just like that idea of balance, and the tea keeps me in touch with the balance, because it's very calming and relaxing, and so that reminds me that if I'm going too fast, take a sip and slow down.
Yeah,
so it's my book Tea Table, and it's put together with myself and my niece Sophia and my dear friend Josie Cowden, who's also from England, and we collaborated on this. It was something I'd always wanted to do, was to write a book. And I initially thought it would be on lemons, because I really love lemons, but then I realized I really enjoy tea, and I also enjoy the ocean and where we live. And so the book's filled with lovely scenic pictures of Pacific Grove and the Central Coast. And it too was a lot of work to write a book. However, it's, you know, it lives on, and I enjoy that aspect of it, is that the work's done and it's still there, and we're up to, I think, 700 copies in print. We've sold over 600 in about 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So I plan on doing more with the book, and it's 22 easy recipes. They're not the recipes I use in my business, but I recreated them to make them easier for the home chef. So they're very simple. I made them as simple as possible. So the idea being, if anybody were to get the book, they could put together their own afternoon tea or high tea. It has everything in there to help you do that.
Well, that's quite an accomplishment. So, and you've been busy between business and books and family, and
yes,
good for you.
Yeah.
So you've been running your own business for, you said, close to 20 years, right?
This business, Eddison and Melrose, 20 years. I was in Vancouver prior to here, and I ran my personal chef service there for about 4 years. So I'm probably in going close to year 25 all in all of working for myself. Wow. Yeah, but on the peninsula it's 20 years.
20 years.
Yes.
And in all of that time, what surprised you most about owning a business?
The amount of work. Doesn't matter how simple, you know, you figure out a business idea, it's work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times when people see a restaurant or something that looks simple, it looks glamorous, and it's sort of, I'd like to do that, and you don't realize the work that goes into it.
There's a lot behind the scenes.
Paperwork, responsibility. So shutting off from that work is, in the time that I've been doing that, I've learned how to stop working when I'm not working, and not always be tapped into what's going on with work, which isn't easy to do, but over time, learn to do that. But yeah, mainly that it's a lot of work, but it's also very rewarding. So there's a good payoff in that, I get to do what I enjoy. I get to meet lots of people. It's very social what I do, and it's rewarding because you're doing it for yourself.
Sure.
Yeah, and of course you need a team. So you always need those extra hands, whether it be family or your co-workers, your staff. I tend to run a business more as I say co-workers, because even though I own the business, I feel like I treat the staff more of co-workers rather than actual staff.
Sure.
And it makes it fun for everybody. We don't have to go to work and feel like we're at work. It's nice to be at work and have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's it. I think that's a great way to run a business. So good for you. Good for you. And what is, so you've talked about getting to meet a lot of people and your customers and everything else. So what's something that your customers would say that they love most about Eddison and Melrose?
Probably customer service and attention to detail.
Okay.
That's something I really like to take pride in and focus on each job as best as I can, and give it a lot of attention to detail. So it makes it special, especially now with the to-goes, to make it really nice when someone gets their to-go items, that they open it up and kind of get a little bit of wow factor from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's the attention to detail in business, like that is something that can definitely set you apart. So
Yes.
that's really good. What are some of your goals for the next year?
To more or less keep doing what I'm doing, to try and keep that balance that I have going, to not overdo, and keep up with the level of work I've been able to do, and keep customers happy.
Okay.
So just basically to somewhat maintain what
where
I've
you
been
are.
doing. Yes,
Good.
yeah, and that would be, and hopefully everything stays open, so that that we can do that. We're in a much better space now than we were this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
So hoping that continues. It either stays or it gets better rather than anything else.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yes.
That's got to be a great place to be, where you've kind of found balance and where you're happy with the way things are, and not needing to feel like you have to keep going and growing more and more. So
Right.
Well, and another thing you've brought up is being, you like being part of this community here. So what is something that you love about being part of the Monterey Peninsula community?
It's all intertwined, I'd say. There's many connections. So, somebody that I know, and on it goes. It's that.
Sure.
It's not necessarily a pay it forward, but it's a version of a pay it forward, in that there's a connection there.
Okay.
So many people know each other. It's a small peninsula. At the same time, it's not tiny,
Mm-hmm.
but it's small enough that, over time, I've been here 35 years, which seems crazy to think I've been here that long. But over time, you get to know a lot of people, having lived here that long. And there's always people that are moving here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like with life, you can never stop learning, you can never stop knowing people. So there's always people to meet, always more people to meet, people leaving, people coming into town. So yeah, it's just a fun community to be a part of because of that reason. There are always so many people we know have come and left. Others are still, on their way here.
Yeah.
So it's one of those transient sort of towns at the same time as people that have stayed. Yeah.
You got a lot of people that have been here forever, and then
Right.
Just because it's a great place to be, you get a lot of new people coming all the time.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And with things like social media, one of the things that I feel with social media is, I'm not someone that has a social media that has 10K followers or anything like that, but over the 20 years I almost feel as though I literally know 95% of my followers in a face-to-face manner.
Okay.
Because over the years I've had that time to spend with people. So that feels rich in its own sense of community, of knowing all those faces and followers, as opposed to I don't know who that is.
That makes sense. Well, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
And do you...
Pinky up. We'll do a cheers.
There we go.
spot of tea in the
Oh,
afternoon.
that is excellent. That is really good.
Oh, thank you.
Well, is there anything else that you think that everybody should know about Eddison and Melrose?
Give me a call, look up our business, check out the book online. It's on Amazon, it's at local booksellers,
Okay.
and give me a call and order something or pop by. I should say we are only open somewhat by appointment, so a lot of times our doors closed. It doesn't mean I'm not here. I'm usually here baking wholesale, and then usually on Fridays and some Saturdays I'm here, but we do a pre-order, and I recommend about 7 days notice for your pre-order, and you can order high teas and everything else. And I'll look forward to seeing you at the Dutch door. If someone places an order, I'll see you here.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye bye.